Hello everyone, my name's Darren Gibb, also known as Mr. Gibb English on Instagram and YouTube. And I've been very kindly asked by Ask Teacher Will to offer some of my insights into teaching. So here we go. A little bit about me. I've been teaching for over 10 years. My background is I'm a qualified high school teacher in Scotland. I then moved to Madrid in Spain. I taught in a British school for about 4 years, and for the past 4 years I've been working in companies teaching English as a second language. So that's a little bit about me. I also come from Scotland, which is a wonderful country which I recommend you all visit if you have the chance. We're quite difficult to understand, but this is okay. Once you get used to our accents, you're absolutely fine. One of the main ideas that Teacher Will's been talking about is that we learn together. And I couldn't agree with this more. As teachers, we are constantly learning and evolving our practice to make sure that we're able to meet our learners' needs as effectively as possible. So it's not just the students who learn, the teachers do as well. And we learn together. We all bring so much experience from our daily lives, and this is the idea of learning together. You're a fully formed person already with your own experiences. All we're doing is teaching you a language. So I think it's really important to be able to bring these experiences into your learning. And for me, that's what this idea of learning together really comes from. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get into the questions. The first question is, if you gave me $1 million, what would I do with it? Well, for me, it's quite a simple answer really. Travel. I love traveling. I love experiencing new cultures, new foods, meeting new people. So I would travel and invest. I would try to invest a little bit of it as well. The second question, my favourite day. Now, I should say Monday because it's the beginning of the working week, but I think it probably is Thursday or Friday, to be honest. As much as I love teaching, I also love spending time with my partner, with my friends, watching football, going places, doing things. So, like many of you, if your weekend starts on a Saturday, Sunday, for me the weekend starts on the Friday, and this is probably my favourite day. We've got the weekend to look forward to. My favourite movie would have to be, not surprisingly, a Scottish movie called Trainspotting. It's a very difficult movie for many people to watch. It tells the story of 4 or 5 drug addicts in Edinburgh in Scotland during the 1990s, and it's just really, really well written. Irvine Welsh, who wrote the books, one of my favourite writers, so for me, I would have to say Trainspotting. Biggest misconception about me? I think within learning, it's probably the idea I have a British accent. There is no such things. This is a fallacy. A British accent does not exist. The British accent so many people want is to sound like the Queen, and that's really just a certain part of England and a certain class of people. I'm Scottish. I have a Scottish accent. English people have English accents. So this idea of a British accent is a fallacy, and that's probably the biggest misconception people have about me. A great question here. Why did I become a teacher? Well, a little bit of a personal story here, to be honest with you. When I was younger, I had a really, really, really terrible teacher who wouldn't help me with my work and who really disengaged me from the learning process. So from a young age, I always felt that I wanted to be a teacher so that no other learner would have to feel the way that I felt within those classes. So quite a personal reason, but that's why I became a teacher, and I love it. And what advice would I give to new teachers? Be prepared to work, and to work very hard. I think that's probably my main advice. Teaching is such a huge profession. It really is. And the preparation, the marking of work, everything like this takes a lot of time. So that would be my main advice to teachers, is to be prepared to work hard and to love your students. Love what you do and love your students. Show them that you care about them. This is so important. As human beings, if we don't feel valued, we don't tend to work so hard. So good relationships with your students creates a positive learning environment which everyone benefits from. Behavior problems go out the window. Disengaged students go out the window. The class are engaged and focused. Really build the class around your objectives as a teacher. A question I get asked a lot: how can I improve my speaking? By speaking, quite simply. Don't get confused and don't get drawn into this idea: I don't have a native English speaker to speak with, I can't practice my speaking. Nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Of course you can. Speak with non-native speakers. There's two ways to look at this. Number one, if the person you're speaking to has a lower level of English than you do, this is great, because in your head, you're going to be correcting the errors that they make, which helps you to consolidate your learning. It backs up the learning that you already know and makes it stronger. Number two, if the person you're speaking to has a better level of English than you, amazing. You can learn new structures, learn new vocabulary, phrasal verbs, idioms, everything like this. And even better, you can ask them in your native language why English works this way. You can ask them questions about English and they can explain to you in your native language. Perfect. So that's how to improve speaking. There's lots of websites online where you can find speaking partners for free. I encourage you to have a look for them and to find someone and just practice. Native, non-native, doesn't make a difference. Practice. And my thoughts on fluency versus accent. Fluency is more important, guys. I hate to tell you this. It's very difficult to have a perfectly native sounding accent unless you've spent a lot of time in the country. So if you're not fortunate enough to live in an English speaking country, I wouldn't worry too much about your accent. Fluency and clarity, being clear when you speak, are far more important. If you really want to look into accent, you could start studying phonics. I think studying phonics and phonetics really helps in learning a language anyway, because once you understand them, it means that you can look for a dictionary definition of a word. It will show you the phonics and you can begin practicing that. So I would say that English language sounds are important, the phonics themselves, but the actual accent, I wouldn't worry about it so much. I really wouldn't. Stay true to yourself and stay true to who you are, and your own accent would be my advice. Simply seek to be clear when you're speaking and to improve your fluency. If you're wasting time on learning an accent when you could actually be using that time to become more fluent, understanding grammar better, you're wasting your time. So that's my advice. Don't worry too much about the accent. And overcoming fear in English. This is a common question. Where I live in Spain, many people actually, I would say, do speak English, but they don't want to, and they'll say they don't speak English because of a fear. Don't be scared about speaking English. You want to improve your speaking? You've got to speak. You've got to get over this fear that you have. It's entirely natural. I have it when I speak Spanish, but you need to try and overcome it. Nobody's judging you. Sometimes you might get some idiot, some beep, laughing at you when you speak. But just remember, this idiot probably doesn't speak more than their own native language. Whereas you speak your native language and you're able to communicate in English. So anybody who laughs at you when you try to speak in English, they're not worth bothering about. Don't be shy, don't have fear, be strong, stay strong, and be confident. It's far better to be practicing and making mistakes than not practicing at all because you're scared. My 3 favourite English words. This is the most difficult question for me. I love English and I love words, but I can't think in particular about which ones would be my favourite words. So I'd have to say, as an English teacher and English literature teacher, onomatopoeia would have to be one. Onomatopoeia is when a word is written the same way it sounds, like crash, bang, boom. It's written as the actual sound sounds. So onomatopoeia. I don't know why, I just love the way it sounds. My second word, I really don't know. Love, guitar, parallel. I like the word parallel, parallelogram, which I think is a shape. That's difficult. I can give you my favourite Scottish word. Well, actually, no, I can't. I've got a few favourite Scottish words. Yeah, I can give you my favourite Scottish word would probably be dreich. Dreich. And it's in Scots. And dreich, we get a lot of rain in Scotland. So this word dreich means when it's not raining, it's not quite spitting. It's like it's very misty or very foggy. And when you're walking, you can feel the water on you. Maybe you can see little droplets, but it's not rain. We call that dreich. And I love that word, dreich. And also wee, which means small. There you go. So a couple of English words I like and a couple of Scottish words. How can social media help you to learn English? How can't it help you? I think it's a great tool that we have, especially if you're checking something like Instagram or whatever it is every day. You're going and you follow somebody, you're going to instantly get that information, their latest posts into your feed. So it's great. I'd say Instagram and social media, there's another slight fallacy. Will and I were talking on Instagram Live last week, and this is the word of the week for me, fallacy. A small fallacy about Instagram is I think it can encourage passive learning, which isn't good. We need to learn actively. So what I mean by that is I think it's very easy just to mindlessly scroll through your feed. You know, you've got your phone and you're just scrolling. You're not actually reading, you're not actually taking things in. Oh, that's a nice phrasal verb. Scroll. And this is a problem. So I think that social media is amazing for helping to learn a new language. However, you need to learn it. Don't be fooled into thinking by spending 10 minutes looking at a few English posts every couple of days, you're going to significantly improve your English. You're not. I'm going to make a video in the next week or so, some tips on how to use Instagram to help you learn English. And I'll give you a sneak preview, but it's a 10 rule, not 5, 10. 10 minutes of reading every day, 10 minutes of watching videos, teachers' videos every day, and 10 minutes of reading whatever you like. Perhaps you followed celebrities or whatever it is you like in English. Broken into 10-minute chunks 3 times a day, and that will really improve your English. But even better if you've got a notepad and pencil or a tablet or whatever it is that you use to take notes. When you have that beside you, taking notes of interesting things you've learned, and then at the end of the day reviewing what you've learned, and then trying to make sure that you're using what you've learned in real life, in your situations that you speak English in. If you do that, social media is incredibly useful for learning. If you don't, my fear is that we become very passive and we don't actually take the lessons that are being taught. A video I've always wanted to make, but I've not. I would like to be taking my camera out more and not just staying within my room and filming. So those sorts of videos are a little bit more everyday life sort of thing, you know. That's what I think. It's a video I'd like to make, but if not, watch this space. I might well make it one day soon. How to improve comprehension of vocabulary. My goodness, people, it's simple. It's an easy. I'm gonna blow your mind here. Reading. How do you improve your comprehension, your understanding? Reading fiction articles, non-fiction articles, stories, literature, even poems, looking at song lyrics. Reading things that interest you. Do not be reading rubbish you don't care about. Then it's a task. If you like football, read about football. Follow the BBC's got some excellent articles on news, football and everything else. Be reading every single day. It's vital. 10, 20 minutes every day. And you will naturally, through osmosis, just begin to comprehend and learn your words. The key aspect to learning a language really is reading. And so you have to put the hours into that. So that's how I feel you improve your vocabulary comprehension. Also, if you're watching movies and things like this, have the subtitles on. If you come across a word that catches your interest, write it down and find out about it. Have a vocabulary list or a vocabulary book that you walk around with, that you keep with you at all times, where you can add new vocabulary to and constantly review it. And that nicely leads on to how can I learn new words? Exactly the same as what I just said. Reading, watching things, writing them down. It's so important, especially within exams, to understand new words, vocabulary you don't know. I guarantee you will come across words in a reading comprehension task in an exam you don't know. It's up to you to be reading regularly and practice understanding how to decipher, how to decode these words. And that's really just a case of looking at the word. Look at the context around it. Does that help you? Is there a similar word in your own language? Or perhaps if you speak a European or if you speak a Latin language, is there a similar word in French? Is there a similar word in Spanish that you know? You might be able to make a guess from there. So these kind of strategies are really useful for comprehension and for learning new words. And what does insight mean to me? Well, an insight quite simply tells me more about something. So this video is an insight into me and my pedagogy, my teaching, what I believe about teaching. So to gain an insight into something, just simply to find more information about it from a specialist usually, and then using that information to then help you. So I've given you some insights on learning and better ways to learn and more active learning, to learn actively. Likewise, if you're a teacher, perhaps you can take some of the advice I've given here. So an insight is just to gain more information and a greater understanding about something. How do we have a clear vision to assist our English goals? Sorry, just looking at the question there. How do we have this 2020 clear vision? Goal setting is really important, but they have to be smart, if you like. They have to be specific. They have to be measurable. They have to be accurate. They have to be realistic. And they have to be... What does T stand for? I can't remember. Terrific. I've completely gone blank. Smart. The main thing about your goals is be realistic. Be realistic with them. This idea that you're going to be fluent in English in 6 months, I'm sorry, forget it. That's not realistic. It's really not. It's really not, okay? Be realistic. Perhaps you want to learn a new phrasal verb every day. That's a target. Perhaps you want to master the past simple, the present perfect, a tense by within a month. You want to really understand and be using that comfortably. Okay, there's a target. So your targets must be realistic. Have a clear vision on your learning goals. And to do that, it's being realistic with yourself and your teacher if you have a teacher. How would I describe Teacher Will? Do you really want to know Teacher Will? I'm joking. What a great guy. Really, really enjoyable. I do quite a few Instagram lives on my Instagram page at Mr. Gibb English. And Will's brilliant. I always really enjoy working with him and talking to him. He has a lot of insights into teaching. He's a strong character, and I believe he'd be a great teacher as well. He's fun, he's approachable, he's knowledgeable. I really like the guy, honestly. He's all right for an American. That's a joke, Will. It's a joke. No, fantastic. Lovely, lovely guy, and I believe a great teacher as well. And someone who really passionately cares about his students and learners. He's not just in this job to be Teacher Will, everyone respects. I feel that he's really in this profession to make a difference to people's lives when it comes to learning English. So keep up the good work, Will. And final thoughts or suggestions for how to improve one's life and English. Well, I'll start with the English side, saying that's probably what I know more about. Work hard. If you want something, you've got to work hard for it in life. I suppose I've answered both questions there. Working hard, being proactive, being realistic, and asking for help. How do you improve in English? Ask for help. If you don't know something, ask for it, research it, look it up online. That whole process of researching is a valuable key for learning as well. And be active, don't be passive. This is for English and life actually, both apply to this. Be active, not passive. Work hard. This is all my advice for English and for life. And for life, love one another, man. Love one another. There's too much hatred and problems in this world, so let's learn to love one another once again, and I think we'll be okay. Each one of us are special individual people who bring their own qualities and problems and undesirable aspects perhaps, but ultimately I believe that we're all good people and we bring a lot to every different situation. So love and listen and respect others would be my advice for there. Well, I hope this has given you more of an insight into me, Darren Gibb, at Mr. Gibb English on YouTube and Instagram. Follow me if you're interested in what I've been saying. Again, Mr. Gibb English on YouTube and the same on Instagram. And I'd love to have you following me. I'd like to thank Will for asking me to do this. One thing I've not mentioned is reflective practice, being reflective about something, using reflection skills. And I'd say that these questions have really forced me to reflect upon myself as a teacher, myself as a learner, and myself as a person. So, as always, if you're not following Ask Teacher Will on Instagram and YouTube, why not get following him? Follow me as well if you so desire. I would be more than appreciative for the follow. So I will see you all, I hope, in the meantime, sometime soon. As always, all that remains for me to say is to look after yourselves, love one another, and love learning.
Teacher Darren, thank you for your insight.